Hello everyone, welcome back to StudyBuddy Code channel. We're solving SAT maths questions in the domain algebra. The difficulty level is medium. If you would like to know how I've selected these questions, you can go back to the first video in this playlist to see how. Let's start reading the question now. In North America, the standard width of a parking space is at least 7.5 feet and no more than 9 feet. A restaurant owner recently resurfaced the restaurant's parking lot and wants to determine the number of parking spaces N in the parking lot that could be placed perpendicular to a curb that is 135 feet long. Alright, based on the standard width of a parking space. Got it. Which of the following describes all the possible values of N? So I'll give you a minute to pause the video and try to solve this question by yourself. Okay, let's start solving this question. So the question is asking us which of the following describes all the possible values of N. Well, what is N? N is the number of parking spaces in a specific parking lot in a restaurant, okay, in a restaurant. Great. And here, that could be placed perpendicular to a curb that is 135 feet long. So let's say this is 135 feet long. That's pretty short for 135 feet. Anywho, 135 feet, and the cars are being placed perpendicular to here. So if I imagine this one as a car that is perpendicular to this 135 feet. So the standard width, okay, of a parking space is at least 7.5 feet and no more than 9 feet. Okay, so let's say the width is W, okay, and if we write a little inequality here, this would be, sorry, not an inequality, a small equation here. This would be W is at least 7.5 feet. So that means it can be more than, but it should be minimum of 7.5 feet. It's similar to saying that you need to at least score 50 marks to pass this exam. That is the minimum marks to pass that exam. Okay, and no more than 9 feet. That's pretty understandable. That's the maximum. No more than 9 feet. So it should be less than or equal to 9. This is in feet, both of these. Okay, and here, now they're asking us what is the possible values of the number of parking spaces. Okay, the number of parking spaces here. So the number, so let's just say these are parking spaces. So we need to determine the number of parking spaces. And they've also given us the minimum and the maximum width of a parking space. So if you could say that if this is the width, this is the length, correct? So, and the cars are being placed perpendicular to 135 feet. That means, let me just show you here. Let's imagine this as a car, okay? This is the width, and this is being placed perpendicular to this. So we're basically dividing 135 into parking spaces here, like parking space, parking space, parking space, parking space, parking space, correct? So, and we also know the minimum and maximum width of each parking space. So let's divide 135, okay, divided by 7.5. And if you use a calculator, you get the answer as 18, okay? And similarly, okay, so that was, why does this keep happening? Anyhow, 18. And similarly, if we divide 135 with 9, we get 15. Great. So these are our possible values of N, which is the possible number of parking spaces. So 15, 18. So let's see here where we have those values. That's option D. So you can choose that answer and move on. If you would like to use decimals, you could use it for calculating, but I wouldn't be sharing that in this video. It would just be me dividing these two. All right. Thank you.